Thanks for coming. Welcome to the show. What a great week it's been. The season is shaping up very nicely. Goals, controversial incidents, managerial sackings, and Mario Balotelli scored. Not that it gave him any pleasure whatsoever. Sean Lock and Dave Johns are primed and ready to give us their insight into this week's happening. So, as Marvin Gaye once said, let's get it on. Do you enjoy me saying that? The football's on.
Yay!
Yes. How about... All right. Yes. Welcome back in a week where billions changed hands, and here at the Football's On, we're hoping to feel the trickle-down effect. The Premier League continues to weave its magic. Harry Kane is scoring goals for fun. He's being talked of as the latest saviour of England. So expect him to be on loan at a Championship team next season. He's hoping. Paul Lambert was sacked as Aston Villa manager and released a statement. He said, mumble, 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 iron brew. Mumble, Nicola Sturgeon, mumble, mumble, you'll never take my freedom. Nigel Pearson, the Leicester Strangler, manager, had a strange week with the club's Thai owners. He was sacked by the father and reinstated by the son. And the Holy Ghost is looking for an upturn in results. I'm here all week. I'm joined this week by two brilliant comic talents. It's Dave Johns and Sean Lock, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hello.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Dave, nice to have you here.
Well, it's nice to be here.
You told me earlier. You know what? Sorry, Sean, nice to have you here as well.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't feel left out.
No. Well, the reason I want to introduce you there, because Dave told me earlier that you have started some sort of donkey concession on Whitley Bay Beach. Did you make that up?
No, I didn't make it up, no. My career's going so well that I've actually applied for a donkey licence. Hey, don't laugh, I tell you what. £2 a ride, and you only go sort of a couple of 100 yards, and then you're back again, another £200. The kids are, you know, sort of like
Happy.
queuing up.
Yeah.
So I've applied, but I've got to go for an interview because they want to know what I know about donkeys.
I've known Dave a long time. You've never had a pet. I've never seen you even near an animal, other than being on a plate.
I'll have a long lead, so I won't have to... No, the thing is, right, I thought that... I went down to Scarborough where they have donkeys, right?
Yeah.
With my daughter,
And
right?
you saw an opportunity.
And she loved getting on the donkey. She loves riding on the donkey. I mean, she's 36, and she loves riding on the donkeys. Dad, I'm scared. And I'm going, no, go on, pet, we'll let you go in a minute. So she was on the donkey, right? And I thought, this is really good, because, you know, the pressure of doing sort of gigs and that and all that. And I thought, you know, just wandering along, in, you know, with donkey on a beach. So I have to go and I have to convince the council that I know a lot about donkeys.
Right, well, we'll find out how that goes.
Public
And how are you?
liability
And how are
insurance.
you, Sean? Are you OK?
I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm not applying for any animal husbandry licences.
As long as
Things are going pretty well for me.
Sean's doing all right. He's fine without donkeys.
Yes.
Now, as regular viewers...
But I'll keep you informed.
Yeah, keep us posted. Now, as regular viewers will know, there's a point system. When I say system, it's pretty arbitrary and it's basically dependent on what sort of mood I'm in at the time. And in fact, for coming all the way from Newcastle and looking after donkeys so well, I'm giving a point to Dave Johns, ladies and gentlemen. It started. Now, as I said, it's been a great week in the Premier League. BT Sport showed two excellent but contrasting games as Merseyside took on London. Sean, you love a late winner, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, well, I think anyone does, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was...
But do you prefer a late winner or an easy 3-0 win? Which is a conversation I was having the other day.
As in, like, as an experience, an emotional experience?
Yes.
I think there's enough stress in my life. I'd like a 3-0 win. I'd like to be 3-0 up.
Just relax
10
for
minutes.
20 minutes.
Yes, yeah. And,
Dave, do you know what a 3-0 win is like?
No, I like a
film?
really boring draw. That's what I like. That's what I'm used to. Just
Right.
like you just run up the pitch, run back down the pitch, run up the pitch, run down, get his goal, let's go home. That's what Newcastle. That's what it's like in the town now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So no. I can only dream of a 3-0.
I was going to say it's been a while.
We did beat Chelsea, like, but we're not.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Sean is a Chelsea fan, and you must be enjoying yourself at the moment. Oh.
Yeah, it's quite exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that they were a bit unfortunate in the last few weeks with the suspensions and things.
Oh, what, the conspiracy theory? You mean everyone's against Chelsea?
Well, no, it's not everyone's against Chelsea, but it seems to me that from now on, everywhere Diego Costa runs, he's got to go like that. before he runs off. Because basically they say, oh, you trod on someone. Well, he's running away, you couldn't see the guy. So but what they're saying to him is from now on, when he runs anywhere, just before he sets off, he has to go, excuse me. No.
Well, he's got big
No, there's nobody there. I can run off. Oh, they've got the ball. That's a shame.
Well, he's got big, massive feet. That's
what it is. Clown feet.
Clown feet. That's
I think it's because he's so butch.
He should have.
They just go, he must
feet.
be up to something. He's just the butchest man ever, isn't he? He's just so butch.
He's fairly butch.
You say that.
You know, he's pretty. Who made you? Can you
Name
think
a
of
butcher man.
Name you know me a butcher man.
Butcher man.
No, not a butcher
man. He's just so.
Dixon's.
He looks
the
like,
pork butcher.
He looks like he should be in Top Cat, like a really bad cat in Top Cat. Like he makes a guest appearance in Top Cat and frightens their hell out, frightens the bejesus out of them on Top Cat.
Yeah, go
so butch. Yeah.
Right. Right.
And I think it's unfair because basically that's what I say. He was running away from the ball. He can't see where the man is behind him. It's ridiculous.
Well,
the other one actually, I thought he should have got done for the other one where he could see the player. He didn't get done for that.
And he
one.
decides to stamp on him. What about Ivanovic? Did Ivanovic bite someone the other day? I
don't think so. No, I don't think he did. No.
No?
It turns out he didn't. No.
Maybe.
I'd like to spread the rumour that he did.
Well, obviously everybody does, but anyone else does something, everyone goes, nah, it's fine, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's handbags, that is. It's handbags.
Well, nobody did that. When people bit someone, people got quite upset about the whole
He
thing.
didn't really bite him, did he? He didn't even have a nibble.
What was it then?
I think he had a taste.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
McCarthy.
He licked him.
He just licked him.
Yeah, like
Dave,
a fish.
please
Like
don't
a
do that
coral.
again.
Like those parrotfish.
Yeah,
they eat the coral.
parrotfish. Maybe in his mind he sees cockroaches and he's trying to stamp on them.
Are we back to Diego Costa?
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is, because, from where he lives, there might be a lot of cockroaches where he was brought up.
Is that your theory? And,
maybe it's in his subliminal mind that he just... Cockroach! And he stands on them.
That's the other possibility, isn't it, really? Let's face it. What about Balotelli? You see Balotelli scored the winning goal for Liverpool.
Yeah, with his face is brilliant, isn't it?
Balotelli's face.
Yeah.
He didn't show any emotion at all.
No, you've won £2 million.
Yeah, he's obviously putting it on. I think they call it insouciance, faux insouciance. That he basically went, I'm not enjoying this at all.
Well, it's because he's a young, arrogant young guy, isn't he? And he's just thinking, it doesn't matter, That's what it is, isn't it?
Well, he plays football, he wants to score, doesn't he? I mean...
Yeah, but he just...
It's very odd, isn't it? So it's almost like he cares so much that he has to pretend he doesn't care. Or is it, I've scored, but I'm not celebrating with you because you've all been complaining about me. It's quite petulant, basically.
He's sort of moody celebration.
When do you think he does get
going well.
excited? When do you think he does show excitement? When do you think he does? Like, you must sometimes, like if he's had a nice breakfast or something. Frosties!
Does he run around the room kissing the
Yeah. Do you think he ever sort of is excited about anything?
He likes a new hairstyle.
Yeah?
I think if he walks past a barber and he's, they've got the photos of different hairstyles, and he sees one, he thinks, ooh, I'm going to have that. You know that barbers that like kebabs? Like kebab shops have pictures of the kebabs?
Yeah.
And often, the kebab shop is next to the barber, and often the hairstyles look a bit like kebabs.
Yeah.
And he's actually had quite a few hairstyles which are a bit like a kebab.
I'll have a comb over kebab.
He just hasn't had salad down the side.
At some point, I'm just going to have to butt in here. I'm going to give out the points for this round. And for making the hoary old point that hairstyles often look like kebabs. We've had that so many times on this show. I'm going to give the points to Sean Lott, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Now, the current Leicester manager is Nigel Pearson, unless you're watching this on repeat, and then who knows. Last weekend was a strange one in the Pearson household. On Saturday, he got up, went to football, grabbed an opposition player by the throat and lost the game. And on Sunday, he got sacked, reinstated, and then went to watch a Canadian folk band. Dave, what sort of twisted, deranged person likes Canadian folk?
Well,
Do you even know what
Canadians like Canadian
I'm not
folk,
even sure they like it, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, it's always the pressures of a modern-day manager that you need to get away from the pressures of football.
Well, he's
and
obviously...
where more could you get away from football than Canadian folk?
That is the least pressurised environment it's possible to be in. It's
and he's sitting there going, I've forgotten all about football. It's like Cajun, Canadian, French folk music.
It's almost like you knew the tune there, really.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Canadian
Was that the
folk
song
music.
about the bear and the bull?
Yeah, the bear and the bull.
That one.
And you would forget about any of your problems with football, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you would at that
After
point.
that.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's probably
I
done.
think that would do it. Maybe. So all this grabbing someone, I think is what I have to do is rest it back to football every so often.
Get some sense.
I know.
Him in the room. Nigel Pearson.
Nigel
Nigel
Pearson.
Pearson.
Leicest's results haven't gone well lately, have they? Leicester's results.
His results haven't gone well. They haven't got well. The French have got a song about it.
I knew this was a good idea.
You're going down. What about Nigel Pearson? Grab somebody.
He did. That's what he did.
He did.
He's obviously feeling the pressure a little bit.
terrible,
He
isn't it?
held on to the bloke's throat. He held on to the bloke's throat a little bit too long.
Yes, he did. We shouldn't have grabbed it at all, should he?
No.
Well,
How long should you hold on to a man's throat?
I think that's the main point.
That's the main point.
I think if they're doing Cajun folk music, I think you should hold on as long as
Can you
possible.
imagine?
Yeah.
Imagine? No, that was just too long, that. His tongue was coming out.
Well, he held on to his throat and then he held on to his shirt as well, and he just wouldn't let him go. And there was a point where MacArthur looked at him and went, "Now this has got serious all of a sudden. What's wrong with you?" And you could see he thought he's under pressure, really.
Yeah. But I think there's another fair point about football nowadays, I've noticed, right?
What is this
Not
gonna
from
be?
the old days, like, but
Yeah.
now, all this heads together, all these young kids, like, putting their heads... You know, you see the footballers?
Yeah.
The players are always putting their heads against each other and going... like that. I mean, what's all that about?
Well, it's aggression. It's getting out.
Yeah, but shouldn't they be getting out in the field, you know, rather than, you know, it's...
Yeah, all right, Grandad. No, but the point is if he shouldn't have grabbed him by the throat, and he thought it's the bit like the Pardew thing when he headbutted the
David
player.
Mailer, yeah.
And it's like showing in some way that, you know, I'm as tough as I've still got it in a way. It's a bit like
You're a
saying
manager.
I'm still one of, you know, I can still handle myself, because he sees that the player coming off the pitch has deliberately attacked them.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously under a lot of pressure. So it's kind of a sign of a bit of a breakdown, really, from Pearson, wasn't it?
Well, it
For
looks like
losing
it.
the plot.
It looks like it. He's bottom of the table, and obviously that's what you do.
But he did hold on to his throat, didn't he?
He held on to his... because he got scythed down. There was a collision, and he just
Is that
scythed him down.
assault? Would that... Could he be done for that?
For assault?
Yeah, for assaulting the player. Could he be, like... if he pressed charges, he could, couldn't he?
I think it would be
Off
a
the
bit
pitch.
much.
If he's off the pitch, yeah,
If he's in
possibly, yeah.
Tesco's, I think...
Yeah, but once you're off the pitch...
Well, he was in the technical area. It's still part
Yeah,
of the
no, it's
stadium.
not the pitch, though.
It's
not
not,
the pitch.
you know...
The pitch stops at that white line.
Oh, and at that point.
So therefore, if you run off the pitch, punched a member of the crowd, or like Cantona did when he leapt over...
He got 9 months.
Yeah.
But he didn't get done by the police, did he?
No,
Incidentally.
he didn't. No, the FA dealt with it.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting about that was that there was no call in the press for Pearson to be charged by the FA. There was no campaign. Yet, what Abramovich did, he actually held that player's throat for about a nanosecond and then held him round there.
Yes.
There was just a massive call for him to be
For Ivanovic,
disciplined by the FA.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, what Pearson did, but I think it was much worse, and that nobody thought it just passed off. Everyone said, no, we're not going to investigate it. There was no real campaign for being in the Daily Mail or the papers, generally, for him to be charged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abramovich, I'm repeating myself now, aren't I? Please stop me.
It's not Abramovich, it's Ivanovic, but it doesn't matter.
Ivanovic.
Unless you know something we don't.
I've got a cold. Ivanovic comes out as Abramovich.
Yeah, Ivanovic, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I'm all in here.
I'm going to give out the points, not surprisingly, for Canadian folk music. I'm giving the points to Dave Johns, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Before we go to the break, we have to mention Roy Hodgson's wasted youth, saying this week... No, it's not a person he keeps in his fridge. We don't mean that. It's a joke. He said this week he didn't know what the fuss was all about with Jack Wilshere caught in a photo holding a shisha pipe. Roy said he tried it in the past and was disappointed. He said, as an ex-cigar smoker, when I tried it, I thought it was a complete nonsense. Apart from a faint, fruity taste in your mouth, that was about the end of it. I couldn't understand why you would do it. Well, Roy, there are things you would put in a shisha pipe that make it completely understandable. Not that we're condoning that, children. That is it for part one. The score is 2-1 to Dave Johns. When we come back, we'll be looking at a couple of managerial meltdowns in waiting and also hearing the latest from the gift that keeps on giving, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. See you after the break. Welcome back to part two of the Football Zone with our guests Sean Lock and Dave Johns. Dave is currently leading 2-1. Now, as always at this point in the show, we delve into the deepest, darkest recess of human consciousness, more commonly known as the brain of Keith Dover, man of the people.
Thank you.
Keith.
Thank you.
Nice to have you, Keith.
Always
What have you
good
got
to
for
be
us?
here. Well, I think as all true football supporters, we all have a mutual respect for Newcastle fans. We sympathise with them. They're excellent supporters. They fill out their stadium every week. Their away fans are second to none. And yet, they have not won a trophy, a major trophy, since 1969.
True.
That's 46 years.
Is this what you brought me on this for, to tell us this?
It's okay.
So today, I want to launch an appeal. What I want to do is let's adopt a Geordie, OK? I don't mean have one roaming around your house,
yes,
soiling
ladies.
your antimacassars. I don't mean one, you know, living with you.
Yeah.
I mean adopt one as you would do an endangered species, like a snow leopard or an abused donkey.
Yeah,
you
an
know?
abused donkey, which is going to happen soon.
Exactly.
Geordies aren't endangered, you know that.
Well, I know, but what I want other fans from other clubs, you know, I mean, like Swansea fans, they recently won the League Cup. Well, share your memories with those Newcastle fans. Send them some photographs. Let them know what it's like to win something. I mean, Wigan, they recently won the FA Cup against Manchester City.
They did.
Make a video diary saying this is what a day out at Wembley was like. You see?
It's a nice idea, Dave, isn't it? Adopt a Geordie?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it depends on what sort of home, because we don't live out of... and we're like an orchid.
What?
What?
A Geordie is like an... I know this is not very... Geordie is like an orchid, right? It doesn't live well in not the right sort of conditions.
Yes.
And what you need is despair.
Well, you have got a lot.
And a Geordie can live for months on just despair. Takes its nourishment from the despair around it.
I mean, what I was going to suggest is maybe all the clubs this year that win something, they could have an open-top bus parade through Newcastle City Centre.
Do you think they'd appreciate that?
I think they would love it. Give them a hug. When you see a Geordie, give them a little hug and go, oh, you've not won nothing for 46 years.
Have you been to Newcastle lately?
No, and I don't intend to go.
I would say I would suggest staying away for a little while.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic city. It's a lovely city, man.
Yeah, it's a lovely city. I mean,
lovely
look,
city.
wouldn't you want... Look at that face. Look at it. I mean, wouldn't you want to adopt that?
Yeah, we're going to keep him here. We're going to keep him here.
Imagine him in his shell.
Yeah, so we're going to be hearing more from Keith Dover later in the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Dr. Geordie isn't even closest to the weirdest stuff he's said over the past few weeks. Louis van Gaal is feeling the pressure. Sam Allardyce accused his team of playing a long ball game, and LVG produced a 4-page dossier to refute these allegations. Although, if Sam Allardyce says you're playing a long ball game, you're definitely playing a long ball game. Dave, is it all getting to LVG?
Yeah, sometimes I look at him and he looks like a giant Galapagos tortoise. If you look at his face, he's like this.
Do you think he's 200 years old, LVG?
Yeah, because you see him
Gary
in the dugout.
Neville will be listening to this going, he's taken the words right out of my mouth.
You see him... No, but
It's what we've all been thinking.
He's sitting in the dugout, right, and he's just looking like this. He's got his little pad and he's like...
Little pad, like a giant Galapagos tortoise
And he's
pad.
looking at it, and yeah, I think the pressure will get to him, yeah.
Well, he's making dossiers, isn't it? This is not healthy, is it, really, dossier?
Well, no, he does. It shows the fact that he took the allegation quite seriously, quite personally, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He had diagrams showing where the balls were played.
I know, I've never seen why that's an insult.
What, long
play.
ball?
No,
we all do it.
I don't see why it's anything wrong with it. I quite like it.
But it's not attractive, is it? That's the thing. That's what they say. It's not attractive.
Well, it's not to get a big bloke with a big perm up the front and just hoof it forward to win.
Yes, and he just bangs it in.
Yeah,
It's just great. Get it over with. It gets to the pub.
The game still lasts the same length of time, but I understand what you're saying.
You call it a game, I call it the lag.
But is he not a sort
The
of...
bit that happens between the pub.
Oh, I see.
But you don't think it's desperation, that he's desperate to keep them in the top 4, and he's desperate and he doesn't care how
Well, not
he does
desperate,
it?
he's got the shareholders on his back.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to... He wants to be able to say at the end of this season, I was the right choice, doesn't he? And he wants so he doesn't want to... So he's just going, just get it in there. I don't care how you get it in there.
I think what Sean said is right. I don't think it really matters. Every team that's ever played with 10 minutes to go has gone, just lump it up to the front, except for Barcelona. Everyone else thought, let's give it a go. Arsenal were semi-finals against Wigan, losing. They just stuck Mertesacker up the front and hoof long balls. Let's have a look at... by the way, this is Paulo Dybala. This is a guy playing for Palermo against Inter, I believe, and he missed the easiest chance in the world. I mean, this is a guy that Louis van Gaal is looking at as a forward. It's not that one. Look at this one. Oh, even Newcastle strugglers to put that one. Yeah, and Louis van Gaal is thinking of signing him. He's seen a dossier on him.
Well, Arsenal were going to sign him, weren't they? Weren't they thinking about signing him? I remember, because one of the weird things you find in this life is the amount of football information I can retain. I can just hear, just crackling in the background, some piece of, like, gossip about a footballer, and I'll retain that.
Yeah.
The stuff I've made a great deal of effort to learn and retain, I won't. And I remember hearing, before the transfer window, that Arsenal were interested, but it cost 30 million.
Right.
Is that true?
Do you know what? You know more than me.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? You remember stupid things about ankle injuries of, like, Partizan Belgrade players who are no longer going to Wolves.
Fifth metatarsal.
Why the hell do I know that? I don't want to know that.
He broke his 5th metatarsal.
I want to know the
stuff.
You know, the periodic table. I haven't made any effort to learn that.
You don't need to
they
know
don't
the
tend to
periodic.
talk about that on the radio.
Generally.
But it'd be good. It's an impressive thing to know, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine, yeah. The dossier has become very popular over the last 10 years. Rafa Benitez and Tony Blair both produce their own dossiers, although Rafa's definitely contain more facts. Political satire, edgy, yeah. Tony Blair came up with a famous sexed-up dossier that said that Iraq was capable of launching an attack within 45 minutes. Although if Saddam had taken Louis van Gaal's advice and gone long ball, he could have got it down to 30. Thought it deserved a bit more, but OK. I'm going to give out the points. And for knowing, in fact, that Dybala may have been on his way to Arsenal when I didn't, I'm going to give the points to Sean Locke, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well done. Very nice. Now, you're like this, Sean. At the top of the table, Jose Mourinho has once again said that there's a conspiracy against Chelsea. Now, unlike Jose Mourinho, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, although if you play the press conference back very slowly, the words actually seem to come from someone behind and slightly to the right of Jose. Sean, are you enjoying the siege mentality at Chelsea? I mean, do you like it?
Not really, no.
No? It's working, though.
I don't think he does. I don't know whether it does. Maybe it works for him. It's just a bit annoying. I mean, I could say, like, my point about Diego Costa, I think is right. I think that was ridiculous.
He's never hurt anyone in his life, ever.
No, but I think if you're running away and someone's behind you, you can't be responsible if you accidentally tread on them. You can't be responsible.
You could have him for babysitting, couldn't you, Diego Costa? He's that sort of fella, yeah.
Yeah, you probably could.
But it's all mind games, isn't it? I mean, like, you know...
Yeah. Well, that's the point.
Like, yeah, he's always, you know, it's all about... It's like going back to that Kevin Keegan thing. I'd love it if we... You know, that sort of stuff.
He was almost in tears.
He was always in tears, you know?
Yeah.
And I think...
But do you like the mind games? Do you like all that?
Does it need to come into the game? I don't know. I mean, like, you know, shouldn't managers and footballers be...
Just get on better.
Above it. Yeah, and be above it, you know what I mean?
Wouldn't it be nice if we all get on well?
Like Bobby Robson.
Bobby Robson never played mind
Bobby
games.
Robson.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But we all like the drama, though, don't we? That's the point. It's part of the drama. I mean, the reason the press like Mourinho is because he's a character and he provides drama and stuff for people to go, oh, he said that.
I can see why he got upset about that, about the Sky panellist Jamie Redknapp and Thierry Henry just saying no, he definitely meant it without even suggesting that there might have been another interpretation of what happened. They just said he definitely meant to tread on that player without even discussing it, and I think that's what he got upset about and annoyed about in that case.
Yeah.
I think the other ones about penalties and decisions going against them, well, there's you know, as everyone's known over a whole season, it always works out. You have the same going for you and against you. roughly.
Is that true?
I think so. I think they did
Newcastle,
that.
do you think you got the same going for you as against you?
You know, with decisions like penalties you should have got and penalties you shouldn't have got.
Yeah.
Decisions that you should have gone against you have gone for you and vice versa. How else can I put it? OK, you've got 6 cows in a field, right?
Donkeys.
And there's donkeys in another field,
Right, the donkeys in another field, right.
Now, someone comes and steals one of the donkeys,
Yeah.
right? And you've only got 5 donkeys, but then someone takes one of the cows and puts it in your field. You haven't got a donkey, you've got a cow, which has actually got a higher market value. All right.
So that's like the mind games, yeah.
Crystal,
yeah.
Is that how you're playing the mind games?
That's how
the donkey cows.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can see what that would be.
I think we've got that now.
Yeah, I think we've got it, yeah.
I do generally understand that. He almost walked out of a press conference the other day. Ivanovic, there was a pronunciation of Ivanovic. I can't even say it now.
I know, it's really cold, it's really difficult.
It's hard enough anyway. He almost went, because they suggested that he bit the guy, as we said.
That came the next day. That's the Mail slowing it down, so it looked like he went...
You know, sometimes at which Newcastle players had the fighting to bite people. We never get anything like that. They never bite anybody. They never...
No.
None of our players.
You know, they just...
Our players... Our Arsenal players
Newcastle are a bit like Villa, though, aren't they? They're run like a business. And with that new Premier League deal, that $5 billion deal, if you keep your club sort of just above the relegation zone, you can have a really successful business and make a lot of profit.
You can,
and I think that's what clubs like that are doing.
That's what's going on up there.
That is what's going on. Now, I've got to give out the points for this round, and I'm still not totally clear on what Sean meant by the whole idea of things evening out over the season. So I'm going to give the points to Dave Johns, ladies and gentlemen. The last thing that the already inflated ego of Zlatan Ibrahimovic needed was a life-size waxwork of himself, but that's what he got in Paris this week. Zlatan constantly refers to himself in the third person, and I've got to be honest, Ian Stone doesn't like that at all. There he is. There is Zlatan. Do you know, I find it weird clapping your own waxwork, don't you? I find the whole thing a little bit
odd.
It's
gone to another dimension, hasn't he?
If he stood like that beside it, never moved, they'd go.
Which one's which?
They wouldn't know, would they?
Well, he did give out a couple of quotes about it. The one to the right is made of wax, and the one to the left is made of steel. Whoa. Yeah, I know. It's essentially like a French Madame Tussauds.
Right.
So it's, well, Madame Tussauds, I suppose.
I went
to... French Madame Tussauds.
Same thing, really.
Hey, you walked into that rate, didn't you?
Yeah, people... he said people can get really close to the statue, and that was the objective. Whereas you can't get close to Zlatan, apparently.
Because he lives in a massive house.
Security.
Electric gates and...
What would be good if they put a wick through him and they could just light him every now and then at Christmas, and he could just give light out like that. Just look at a big wick out of his head. Look at my light.
That's what he did once.
No, I don't know. I've no idea.
Him.
What did you do, Dave?
I went up to see the Stanley Matthews statue. Outside Blackpool. No, I didn't. I went up to see the Stanley Matthews because I was doing a gig in Blackpool. I went up to see the Stanley Matthews statue, and I was late for the gig, and that was because he sent us the wrong way.
What a story, ladies and gentlemen. We can't follow that. That's it for part 2. The score is 3-2 to Dave Johns. We'll be back with more massive lols in a bit. Hello again, it's part 3 of the Football Zone. My guests, Sean Lock, Dave Johns and Keith Dover. Dave is currently winning 3-2. Now, there have been some standout performances by players this season, most of them from foreign players, but not to worry. Stuart Downing started off OK. Harry Kane's been excellent. Hurrah for our brave boys. Sean, who have you liked?
Well, Harry Kane, he's fantastic, isn't he?
He is fantastic. Even for an Arsenal fan, I've got to say I've enjoyed watching him, except for last Saturday, when I hated every fibre in his body.
Yes, yeah.
But even then, there's something about somebody parading around their stadium having scored the winning goal in the local derby. You think this is why we watch football. Beautiful.
Yeah, he's sort of Roy of the Rovers character, isn't he?
He is.
And,
what did people say before Roy of the Rovers came along?
I don't know. What, Dave? What did they say before Roy and the Rovers?
Before Roy and the Rovers, right? Yeah. What they would say is it's Bill from the Academicals.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. So
that's why they got rid of it and used Roy and the Rovers.
It was a bit of alliteration.
When they found out Roy was signing for Rovers, they all went, "Oh, thank God for that. We've got something to say."
That worked out. So, all right, Harry Kane.
I would say Harry Kane as well. I mean, like, he's not me. He just, you know, I mean, how long they're going to keep him is another matter.
Ah, well, this is the point. Is he going to go off to Real Madrid?
Well,
saying the Real Madrid scouts are looking at him.
Yeah, they're like, you know.
What are those, Dave? Binoculars.
And Harry Kane's going, "I don't want to go," and he's going, "Of course you want to come. Come on to Real Madrid. Do you have a tapas? Harry, look, we'll have lovely tapas for you." And he goes, "I don't want to go." And then he goes, "Come, walk with me along the promenade. Look at the beautiful sunsets. You don't get that in rainy London. Come, Harry, look at the senorita.
That would probably do it.
And it would turn any young lad's head.
It would, wouldn't it, really? Yeah.
Tapas coming out your ears, son.
Do you think Harry Kane is a big fan of tapas?
Yeah. I just think that it's inevitable, isn't it? In football, this is what happens in Newcastle. You know, you get somebody, they come in and they come from some obscure team, and they obviously say to them, "Look, if you get any attention, we'll sell you." And this is always going to happen to you. Get a good player, and unless, you know, you're in the top two teams, like, they're going to go, "Oh, I want to go and win something," you know what I mean? You know?
Of course.
And I think that's probably the great regret of Alan Shearer, that, you know, we only won one Premiership medal, you know?
Talking sense.
Oh, sorry.
Something's weird.
What happened there? It's like someone changed the speed of a record. Dave's talking sense.
I know. He does it once in a while. He lapses into
just
it.
sort of phases. It's like once a day.
Lucid,
it's
yeah.
like a clock that's right once a day.
No, but you know
Twice
what I mean?
a day. Twice a day.
It's like that thing. It's like how can you expect a young player with you know, they're all told that Real Madrid and Barcelona is the place you're going to play.
Very tempting, isn't it?
You know,
very
the money
tempting.
you're going to, you know, win. You know, you're going to be in the Champions League, and so it is very.
It's very hard. Keith, you want to say about
well, I
player of the season?
I totally agree with David.
No one's ever said that before.
I know, but the thing is Tottenham have got to pay for their football ground, so they're going to have to sell it. I mean, Arsenal, when we built a new stadium, we had to sell all our players. So they're going to have to do the same. I mean, they can't keep setting like the Tottenham, can they? So, you know, and claiming on the insurance, you know, so they're going to have to sell.
His name is Keith Dover. I'll give you his address in a bit.
But they're also saying, should he be, you know, should Roy Hodgson be looking at... Of course he should.
Well, Roy Hodgson is there every time. Yeah. Every time that Harry Kane does anything good, they cut to Roy Hodgson, even if he's not at the game.
Well, it's a no-brainer.
He was on the toilet the other day. Suddenly cut to Roy Hodgson. He's reading his paper. He went, "Oh." So he is being watched. And there have been... I mean, Chelsea have had some great players this year. Nemanja Matic, unsung hero, I think.
Yeah, Fabregas has been fantastic as well.
Oh, I'm really glad you're enjoying him.
He's amazing. He's a brilliant player.
Isn't he just?
He is, yeah. I don't understand how we got him. I really don't. Genuinely, you think that's amazing that we managed to get this player.
I don't quite understand.
So comparatively cheap when you see what people pay 30 million for these days, and you get Fabregas for 30 million. Yeah. He's an amazing footballer.
What about Torres?
That was a pretty good deal, really. I'm going to give out the points, and even though he was trying to bait me, I'm still giving the points for that round to Sean Lott, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. We were talking about Spain. In Spain, the world's most expensive footballer, Gareth Bale, has been getting booed by the fans and criticised by the media for being selfish. Now, it's quite stunning being accused of being selfish when you play in the same team as Cristiano Ronaldo. Bale is off, Dave. Do you think Mike Ashley might come in with a cheeky bid?
Can you imagine that? I mean, we would just ruin him, wouldn't we, you know?
Well, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. He's got billions.
Yeah.
Sell a few more shirts.
No, I don't mean he wouldn't. I mean, it would ruin sort of Bale, that's what I meant.
Oh, what, playing at Newcastle?
Well, I don't think...
It was only a joke, Dave.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to Newcastle.
No, he's not. Like, you know, I mean...
How does it feel for someone who's the most expensive footballer in the world getting booed by his own
What's
fans?
actually... Why are they booing him,
They're booing him because he didn't pass to Ronaldo.
Just that one time? That was
no, it was
2 weeks
twice.
ago.
It was twice. And Ronaldo's given him the look. So he didn't pass to him, and Ronaldo just sort of looked at him like, "What are you doing?" And that's twice now, and I think 3 strikes and you're out, essentially.
What would they
do? What did they do after that? What did the fans do? There's an escalation from booing?
Louder booing, I think. I mean, they have been known to throw pigs' heads at players, haven't they? you know, Luis Figo, I think...
Yeah, that's because he switched. That was when he went from Barcelona to Real Madrid.
That's true, yeah. OK.
So that was actually Barcelona, did
That was Barcelona fans who did it, yeah. But, you know, things do...
How do you get a pig's head into a football, Graham?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, when you go, get a look at your bag. Right, you got a pig's head. Oh, I need that for the game. All right, OK, then.
I'm making a stew.
I know, yeah. At half-time, I'm making a pig stew, you know? But, you know, I mean, I remember when I was a kid taking a rattle, come on, United, but not a pig's head, you know? Unless they wear the pig's head.
No, they just chucked it on the pitch.
No, but unless they wear it to just
get
it in. Come on, Onka.
That's an upright
This
pig.
is my Uncle Onka. And
Right.
he goes, oh, like that. And he goes, he looks like a pig. Shh, man, that's horrible.
Don't say that
People
about
always
him.
say that about me. You wouldn't like it.
Sorry, Keith.
It'd have to be hollow now.
Yeah, well, no. You just cut the pig off of the pig's head.
Yeah, well, how are you going to put it on your head?
What? Yeah, of course it has to be hollowed out. Do you know anything about wearing...
Exactly.
Do you know anything about wearing animal heads?
Yeah, but then it doesn't become a head, it's more of a mask.
I must say at this point, I'm a bit worried about your donkey rides on Whitley Bay Beach.
If the council's watching, I'm not going to holler their heads out.
I'm going to give the points for that round, for the thought of hollowing out a pig's head, to Dave Johns, ladies and gentlemen. Now, news reaches us here at the Football Zone that former England fast bowler Steve Harmison has been named as manager of Northern League Division 1 team Ashington. David, how did Geordie ever get good at cricket? Do you have summers up there?
We had one once.
Did you?
Aye, but I was a Tuesday in 1948.
You were a youth.
Yeah, and everybody could just unbutton their jacket for a couple of minutes. Oh, what a beautiful summer. Whoa, it's getting lit.
Do you think...
But I tell you what, like, you know, he's gone to Ashington, is that what it is?
He's gone to Ashington, who play in the Northern League Division 1. Well, it's the 9th tier of English
Well, I
football.
will tell you something, right? I live in Whitley Bay and I live down in the New Forest.
It's up this... Right, OK.
Yeah. Now, I went to see, a couple of seasons ago, Whitley Bay football, like Whitley Bay. And it's amazing that...
How rubbish they are.
No. What I really liked about it was that you could walk all the way around the ground. You didn't have, like, different... So you could, like, when it was half-time, you could just go
up the other end.
Yeah,
you used to be able to do that at other grounds. Yeah, Arsenal, you could do that.
And, you know, you'd have your Bovril and you could hear all the players talking, hey, Billy, man, hey, well, was that you last night down the pub? And stuff like that. Oh, get in. but I just think that it was really...
It was old-school football.
And they won the Vars, and the FA Vars that year, you know, so I think that's a good place.
Do you think it's going to work, a cricket player managing a football team?
I think it'd be hard to disappoint the Ashington fans.
Do you think?
I think you have to really make an effort to make them go, I cannot believe what he's done to this club. I can't believe he's taken us where he's taken us and the style of football he's playing. I mean, no, with all due respect. So I think it's probably a bit of fun. It's enthusiasm. I know there's wages involved, is there?
I shouldn't think so. Not in the 9th tier of English football.
Who's managing a team that's never played football?
Who's managing a team that's never played football?
That's not a question, Dave.
What? No, listen. Listen, I'll do it again.
Who's got legs?
Who's got legs?
That eats cheese?
No.
Listen, I mean, you've talked to lots of Tommy Ross.
Will you wait? And I'll tell you what I meant, right?
Okay.
Go on, then.
What manager is managing a football team?
And he's got a hat.
And he's got a hat. What managers have got hats?
Yes.
Oddly enough, I've got a list here.
Is there any manager who's been very successful who's never played professional football? That's what I'm asking.
Loads.
Yes.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Not well, played at the top level.
No, never played at all.
Never played at all.
Well, never played.
Just
never
said
actually
even as a kid,
even
never kicked a
heard
ball.
of football.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
Never even heard of the game. What happened was the team was travelling on an overseas trip to Bangarotutu, out in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah.
And the bus breaks its axle. Right? And the manager gets killed, right? So they're all sitting around going, what we're going to do? We've got a big cup game.
Yeah.
And then you see this young peasant lad playing a flute. No, listen! And he's herding his sheep. And he's managing the sheep.
In the Amazon jungle.
Yeah,
And they go. No, listen. And they go. He could be a good manager.
Right, with his flute.
Yes.
And his sheep.
And then they bring him in, and then he's got a natural... What I'm saying is,
Has that ever happened?
Has that ever happened?
The answer is no, Dave. It's never happened, and it never will happen.
Could you manage a football team without being a professional footballer? That's what I'm asking.
That wasn't what you're asking. It's never happened. I'm going to give out the points. Not surprisingly, I'm giving the points to Sean Lock for that round, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for part 3. The score is 4-4. Now, if you want to be part of the Football's On studio audience, and who wouldn't want to listen to football punditry like this live? We'd love to hear from you. Just send us an email to audience@BT Sport and title the email The Football's On. We'll be back in part 4 with a radical solution for stewarding and the hottest players in the Premier League. Whoa.
I'm not saying they didn't play football. What I'm saying is, if they were... Say, for instance,
Hang on.
they played football amateur. Could they do it?
No, Dave, not in any way. We're back with Sean Lock, Dave Johnson, Man of the People, Keith Dover. The score is currently 4-4. Now, Brazilian team Sport Club de Recife have come up with a novel method of curbing crowd trouble. They've employed supporters' mums as stewards. Now, although this is true, although disturbances have reduced to almost nothing, the stewards do get a bit moody if you don't call them regularly. Sean, female security is a good idea, isn't it? It works at comedy gigs, by the way.
Does it?
It does, yeah. It calms people, feel a bit... Big blokes who are causing trouble feel a bit bad if a woman is going, stop it.
I see what you mean. I mean, rather than their mothers.
Well, their mothers would do that as well, but that's a bit more of a logistical nightmare.
I saw this because they had a real problem in Brazil, don't they, with football violence.
Yes.
It's apparently putting people off going to football. It's so bad.
It is.
It's a bit like the 1970s here. And I just wondered at what level the relation to the person, it stops being effective. Like it goes, mother, obviously very effective.
Yeah.
Auntie, still effective.
Fairly effective.
But, you know, you might not be that keen on it. She might not be that close to you. And then there's, like, cousin, nan... But your stepmother's nan, and then how far does it go down the line?
Second cousin twice.
Just a woman.
It's just your mum's friend who you have to call auntie.
Call auntie, yeah.
But it's not really an auntie.
Yeah. That wouldn't work at all.
Unless she says, I'll tell your mum.
Yeah.
If you don't... If you throw that pig's head at that player...
Yeah.
I'll tell your mum.
Yeah, there was also a story about a Sheffield Wednesday fan, Mark Ablett. He's been banned from attending all football matches in England for 3 years for chucking a tangerine at Fulham supporters. That's not even a dangerous fruit, is it?
Well, if he hasn't washed it...
Who washes tangerines?
Oh, all right, I was just trying to get something funny out of it.
Put the tangerine in a pig's mouth.
Yes.
That could hurt. That could hurt.
But what I'm saying is...
It's an apple, Dave, it's apples. What's the matter with you today?
You're
just not on the pace. You're just not clicking.
What? Does it have to be any sort of fruit?
The oranges are duck.
Oranges.
I think why...
Quack orange.
I think why they're using mums, right, is because in South America...
Apple.
Do they put tangerines in their mum's mouth? No, well, right, anything to stop him talking. While we're on the subject, last week we extolled the virtues of Forest Green Rovers, their eco-friendly, hippy-dippy football club, but their stewards haven't quite bought into the peace and love ethos. Take a look at this. This is a man being removed. They've got vegetarian burgers and they are strangling this bloke. I mean, maybe that's like a bouncy ball full of meat.
I know, that's a bit excessive, isn't it?
He brought meat in. And they went, get out. It's a bit excessive.
I'll tell you what, that guy... Can you put the picture back up?
We have the picture, yeah. Let's have a look at him again. There he is.
The guy with the bobble hat on, I think he needs to go on a course. I think that's the least he needs to do. I think they need to send him on a course about what is reasonable restraint.
Yeah.
Someone with a big, fluffy felt football.
That's a bit
How much
excessive,
damage?
isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, well, then I'll tell you what, no one's ever bringing a fluffy felt football to Forest Green ever again. I'm going to give out the points for that round. And I think for suggesting the very sensible option that man needs to go on a course, I'm going to give the point to Sean Lock, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in a survey in the United States, 250 American mothers and for American viewers, when I say mothers, I don't mean that in a negative sense, voted on the Premier League's hottest players. Now, not surprisingly, Olivier Giroud came out on top, which is what most of the mothers were dreaming of. Naughty. No Diego Costa in the list of hottest footballers, Sean. I can't believe it.
Too Butch, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Look how Butch he is.
I've got the list. I've got the list of players.
He sweats Aramis.
There's a fragrance I haven't heard for a while.
Blue Stratos is coming out of him.
For anyone under 45...
denim pants.
Brut.
You remember Brut?
Brute.
Brute, well, Brut. I can't even see it. I can't even see it.
He said Brut.
You used to pronounce it Brut.
Yeah, well,
In Newcastle.
Well, I thought it was being posh.
Brut.
Brut.
By the way, the Hot 11 includes, for example, Nasser Chadli, the Tottenham player, Charlie Austin, little cheeky smile, Ben Foster. And do you want a not Hot 11 as well? There's a few on here that you might think. Jonan Lescott, that's a bit unfair. Angel Di Maria, the slightly ratty features that he's got for Man United. Mario Balotelli is on the list. That isn't fair, is it? He's not a bad-looking boy. Just needs to smile a bit, that's all.
I don't know. I don't really notice what men look like. You look and Dave look just the same.
Thank you very much.
I don't really see men.
But what is it about sort of like is this women who have voted for them and they find... Because I'll tell you who my girlfriend used to love, old David Ginola.
Well, yeah, but she's not alone, is she? Let's be fair.
And she thought it's... And apparently Steven Gerrard's got sexy legs, apparently.
Now, your girlfriend liked Tommy Lawton. His first girlfriend was...
Finney.
Tom Finney, sorry. His first girlfriend was Gracie Fields.
Dave is very old, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Diego Costa has responded to chants from Liverpool fans about him looking like the Elephant Man. This is true. He says at a press conference, he said, "I'm not an animal. I'm a centre forward." We're going to look forward. We're going to look forward to some of the games. It's FA Cup, 5th round weekend. Neither of your teams are involved, as far as I know, but there are 3 cracking games on BT Sport. West Brom, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Liverpool. That should be good. Arsenal playing the Borough. And the FA Cup in the 4th round was brilliant. I know, Chelsea lost to Bradford, but it was great to watch. Very fun.
Yeah. When I was away, actually, I was in Norway. And I haven't actually haven't seen the goals. I don't really like watching it when we lose.
Why would you?
But that's crazy, because I met this guy when I was doing a gig in Norway, and I was standing talking, and he goes, "I think it's really good, you know. I think it's really good, the gig."
Is that a Norwegian accent?
No, listen.
It sounds scout.
No, it was. No, what it was, and I goes, and he goes, "Oh, I'm a Liverpool fan." And I went, "Oh, brilliant." I goes, "What part of Liverpool are you from?" And he goes, "I'm Norwegian." And I went, "What?" He goes, "He learned how to speak English in a Scouse accent because he supported Liverpool, and so he speaks like." And dolphins are popping up.
Well, I'm sorry, that is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope we've helped you realise who's going to win their FA Cup matches this week.
The final score, ladies and gentlemen, is 5-4 to Sean Lock. Yes, indeed. That's it for this week's show. My thanks to Sean Lock, Dave Johns and Keith Dover. Next week, we'll be joined by Tim Vine and Ian Moore. Thanks for watching.